my genre of music, which I pioneer and started, is called Afro-Fusion.
Lamba is... So Burna is in the news again.
Yeah.
I mean, this time, not... He's not kicking somebody's face in or shooting.
Thank God. Thankfully.
I mean...
But it's so interesting that the wildest thing about controversy in this country is, as a superstar, social media is... Maybe people don't have a short attention span. Maybe what people really have is they focus their attention on things that interest them. And as a result, it looks like short attention span. It's not. It's just that people choose what they want to focus on, what's interesting. And the moment you can create something interesting, nothing else matters. Everybody will move on. That's why social media dragging is nothing. Because in 6 hours, they will find someone else to sacrifice. It's like a ritual. It's like an all-day ritual every day on Twitter.
A national kick.
Bro. You will get it. You will collect. Sweet out to be collecting, bro. Jesus.
Interesting.
My brother.
So, I mean, he says his music, he's trying to describe his music. He says his music is Afro-Fusion.
Yeah.
Is Afro-Fusion a genre?
Shout out to our editor, Susan. She's going to edit some things into this part. We did an episode about it last year. Yeah. About whether Afro-Fusion is a genre. Afro-Fusion is not a genre. As see, let's start from it this way. We also did an episode about Afrobeats. Susan also cut some things into this part about the origin of Afrobeats, right? Afrobeats was this thing that was created by Nigerians in the UK, right? When our music was crossing over because of the internet and music blogs. African music has either it's sukus, either it's Dumba from East Africa, either it's Makossa, Juju, whatever it is. The good thing about Africans is, even South Africans will tell you that, oh my God, we're not Afrobeats, it's just egotistical nonsense. To a foreigner, when they hear African music is just African music because there is nothing like us. If you hear Indian music, you are going to know. If you hear Chinese music, you are going to know. Nobody even has to play the flute for you. You will just know. It's just like that with African music because our music is percussion. The only reason Afro house is because house itself is very psychedelic, of jazz and some other elements, right? What puts the Afro there is the drums and the things that people are saying. Like the moment you have, nobody else is making that type of music. The ones in South America and in Latin world that are making that type of music, they are of African descent. There's a lot of African heritage to people like that. We are who we are. So because of that, and because everybody can identify African music, and because an African can't be explained to a foreigner what is Juju, what is Makossa, they can't get it. Do you know reggaeton? Do you know reggaeton is an umbrella term as well? Anybody that wants to understand what reggaeton is, go and listen to the episode of John Caramonica's what's the name of this podcast that did about reggaeton. Bro, reggaeton has like nine variations but they can't be explaining that to us. But me, when I hear it, I will just call it reggaeton and I'll move on. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's why someone has to say Afrobeats. It makes sense. Now, that then became like our movement because we also benefited from it because anytime anything is traveling or crossing borders, people need to put an identity behind it, a unifier of some sort, right? That's why people are going to say J-pop, K-pop. There are variations. There are different variations that they don't have time explaining to all of us. You just know it's K-pop and J-pop in here. You understand? So we brings me back to this conversation of Afrobeats. That's what Afrobeats is. So in a way, Afrobeats is a genre because it's like an umbrella genre of African music because the thing that really justifies it is Afro, like the Afro sound, the sound, the drums, the percussion, the timbre. Do you understand? That's the Afro. It's a genre. So we can describe Afrobeats as a genre because there's a unifier, there are identifiers. When you hear it, you know. Now, with Afrofusion is not a genre. We can only call it a genre because people use it as a genre when we can't easily determine anything. Do you understand? It's not like Afro swing that is specifically merging Caribbean and African elements. Like, those are the two because it's different. When you hear it, you will know. But Afrofusion is basically anything. It's so wide, it's so broad. It's not, yes, there is also a unifier of Afro, but where's the other thing that makes it a fusion? Do you understand? Like Afro swing, when you hear, you will know. I'm talking to people that know genres now. If you don't know genres, shut up. You don't know anything. People like that piss me off. Just shut up. There are a lot of people like, and that's why it's so hard to have these conversations. Bro, someone was literally arguing with me yesterday that Bono is dancehall. Bro, Bono is dancehall. Bro, you can laugh. It's fine. Do you understand? That's what we are facing. So when Motolani is saying some of these things, they can't process it. Because aside from the fact that you are ignorant, you are also cocky with it. Back to this conversation. So where the Afro is there, and now the fusion is there. So that's why it's very easy to just place anything that is Afrobeats under Afrofusion, under the Afrobeats umbrella, because the fusion part, a lot of you don't know it, but you cannot easily identify the Afro part. If someone that is calling Bono dancehall, what does he know about fusion? What other genres does he know to understand that we can fuse it with something else? Do you understand? So you're not knowledgeable enough. That's why it is easy. Anybody, when a foreigner, for example, hears Afrofusion, the Afro elements are too strong. It's like black jeans. You can't have a black kid and the kid is not going to have. It's like black and Chinese jeans. If you're a black person is mixed with any child, you will know. Either from the hair or from the skin tone, whatever. You will just know. So, is Afrofusion a genre, bro? It's not. It's a description. Someone was telling me that, oh, Burna Boy has never said it. I caught it on my Twitter. Shut up and stop being stupid. You are not doing your research. You are not listening. You don't know anything. You don't watch. You don't read. Go and watch this interview with DJ Head. He said, my genre that I started, that I pioneered, that I created. You didn't create shit. Do you understand? Which brings me to the next conversation that I'm trying to say. The problem that I have here is not the fact that Burna Boy is describing his music as Afrofusion, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, let's finish this. Let's finish this. So this Afrofusion thing that you're saying, yes, you can describe your music as Afrofusion. Do you understand? Afrofusion is not a genre. It's not like genres have identifiers. Do you understand? Genres have identifiers. If you listen to rock music, you don't know that it's rock music. If you listen to juju, you don't know. Does anybody have to explain to you? The problem is, a lot of people don't have the discernment to understand genres. They don't know what genre is which. They just hear this one. They say, oh my God, I just listened to Oju Elegba today. I think it's K-pop. Bro, that's the people that we're dealing with.
Afro-rave.
Bro, that's the kind of people we're dealing with. So, and that's the reason why, like, we have a lot of artists that are very ignorant. Like, it's very profitable these days to, let's deal with this Afrofusion thing first. So this Afrofusion thing is not a genre. It's an umbrella term for anything that we can't place, that unites African elements with anything that's foreign. So we don't know what to call it. Let's place it somewhere. And do you know the problem why it's Afrofusion? Because someone like Burna Boy can't say that his music is solely Afrofusion because your music is so wide. Do you understand? It's so wide. You do a lot of things. And because of that, you don't have a type of Afrofusion. So look at it this way. Like to practice Afrofusion. Right? But can you name any other song in Burna Boy's catalog that sounds like that? None. Which one? That sounds like a repetition of Like to Party. There's none. There is none. Do you understand? Which record is there? Sounds okay. Is Afrobeats. On the Low has some Caribbean elements, but where is the other thing that sounds like On the Low in Burna Boy's catalog? The best thing about the guy is that he doesn't stand still. So someone that is describing his music as Afro-Fusion, and you are now saying that my sound is Afro-Fusion, you are always evolving. Like, you can't say it's a genre because there is no uniformity to the style. There's no uniformity to the sound. There is no unique identifiers. That's why people are going to easily classify your music as Afrobeats, because that's the most easily identifiable part of the music. Afro elements. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's it. So, but people that can't process genres, this conversation is not for you. So, if you're going to listen to this episode, shut up, leave your ignorance at the door, leave your stand at the door, leave your confidence at the door, and just listen, because it's obvious that you don't know anything. Simple.
Okay, so let's clarify. Did you ever say that Burna doesn't make Afro-Fusion?
I never said that. Never said that. What I said was, it's a disservice to Burna Boy to even put himself there. See, the reason why Burna Boy is saying that his music is Afro-Fusion is because it's because sometimes Afrobeats doesn't exactly quantify his music. For example, me, a few days ago, I still said it. I saw Last on Afrobeats playlist. I'm like, why the fuck is Last on Afrobeats playlist? This is on Afrobeats record. Like, I felt like it's just like Grammys some years ago, when the Grammys would be nominating, like Take Care significantly an R&B album, but it won Best Rap album. They've been changing. Some years ago, there was a fight before Post Malone was not nominated in rap categories. There was a whole fight. Like, people have to find another category for the guy. Like, it's important that you judge music on a song-by-song basis. Does that make sense? And then together, you cannot judge it on an album-by-album basis, based on what is significantly on the album. Maybe like 60%, reasonably, or 51% to be safe. Like, significantly, let's say 60. You don't judge it based on who the artist is, where they are from, what they look like. Do you understand? How does the song sound? So that's why these days you can see the Grammys from one album. There's a nomination in the pop categories. There's a nomination in the rap categories. There's another nomination in the urban contemporary categories. Because that's just how music is. People are crisscrossing genres these days. So I get where it's coming from. But what me and I'm not saying is, you are not boxing yourself into this Afrofusion thing. Because, bro, let the music be judged on a song-by-song basis. What you have to say is, bro, I don't think my music is just Afrobeats. Sometimes I make dancehall. Sometimes I make Afrobeats without the S. Sometimes I make conto. Sometimes I make bomba. Do you understand? Sometimes, like, that's what he needs to say. You saying my music is Afrofusion, when in the future, when they now put your music on an Afrofusion playlist, your music is dancehall, when you now desire to be included, when you want to conquer dancehall Caribbean realms, you now be saying, oh, why are they putting my music in Afrofusion? Why is it not on dancehall playlist? Do you understand? Allow the music to describe itself. If you are not comfortable with people saying you are just an Afrobeat artist, then let people just call you Burna Boy. But guess what? That description of Afrobeats is not going to stop, because Afrobeats is not the culture. And regardless of the genre that you make, 9 times out of 10, 60% of the time, the Afro, or 70%, the Afro will be so entrenched in your music that it will be very easy to describe it as Afrobeats. Does that make sense? That's it. Like, how is this hard to understand for a lot of people? So, but the problem why a lot of, like, aside the fact from wrongly terming or wrongly classifying their music, a lot of artists are narcissists. They are the in the world. Like, and I've said it like 100 times on this show. They need it, because if you're going to make something in one random studio in Victoria Island, and you want to make it for millions of people, you have to be a narcissist. You can't be normal. Do you understand? You cannot be normal. You need that narcissism to be able to have the confidence to put the music out. But sometimes narcissism is a negative, or a lot of times. Because Fela created a genre, everybody now wants to, and because there's a gratification from it from the West. Like, because Afrobeats is the movement, people now want to stand out. It's an ego thing, it's an ego trip. You understand? It's an ego trip for them. They want to stand out. So they will now put, I've said it on several times on the show, they will now want to create a genre that doesn't exist. Like, they want to be described as a genre. Even when your music, number one, the genre doesn't exist. Number two, your music is not even reflecting some of that. As in the case of Burna Boy, or someone that is saying their music is Afro-Kalakuta. What the fuck is Afro-Kalakuta?
That's a thing.
Oh yeah, bro. That was a whole thing. Afro-Kalakuta. So, like, everybody is Afro. I just need people to just shut up. It's fine to be Burna Boy. It's fine to be Whiskey. It's fine to be Rema. It's fine to be whoever. Like, it's good enough. And if you really want to create a genre, sit down, think about genres. Do you understand? Think about genres and craft one. Special people can still make special things. So it's not enough to just sit down in one place and no. Please continue.
But I mean, Burna Boy has been using this Afro-Fusion term since 2011. Don't you think that means something?
I mean, the fact is not that. The problem is not that he has been saying his music is Afro-Fusion. Okay. That's not the problem. The problem is, number one, him saying he's a pioneer of Afro-Fusion, which is not a genre. And you can't say you are the first person to mix African elements with foreign elements. You are not. Lagbaja in the 90s, Winnie, Africano Party, Afro-Calypso, there's actually an album called Afro-Calypso. Do you understand? That's what the heck? What is Afro-Fusion? Bro, that is Afro-Fusion. Now, is Burna Boy now was he emblematic when I started describing his music as Afro-Fusion? Yes, because Black Magic, who first started using Afro-Fusion, didn't get big as Burna Boy. So it's automatic that the person that got bigger will become like a poster boy for the genre. For the descriptive that is Afro-Fusion. So number one, it's not a genre, and so you can't create it. Number two, you don't have a uniform sound to your own version of Afro-Fusion. Number three, you're not the first to use the word. So what's the pioneer thing? So it's not about you using this so and level. That has never been the argument. The argument is your music solely Afro-Fusion. Do you understand? And sometimes it will be fine to describe it as Afrobeats. And that's why sometimes, my brother, you got to classify a record these days is so, because people are so, like, when Fela created Afrobeats, for example, we barely had 20, 30 recognizable genres in the world, like recognizable genres that were popular, that people could sell, that other regions could relate to, right? So it was easy at the time to evolve and to mix things together. It was easy. But now, we have over 5,000 genres. 5,000. Do you understand? Genres that the description makes sense. Like, if you're going to say you have a genre, the description has to make sense. It has to be logical. Do you understand? Sophistic pop makes sense because it's a sophisticated version of quiet storm and jazz. It makes sense. Trip hop makes sense because it has elements of hip hop and elements of trippy type of pop. It makes sense. So if these days, if your music, someone can say your music is Afrobeats, like as a description, and it can be Afro-Fusion. It's fine because Afrobeats, the drums, Afro-Fusion, whatever you fused it with, and then you can also describe it as that thing that you fused it with. Let's say Calypso or Latin pop or reggaeton. Like, it's fine for you to be treated at the same time. Why are people so desperate to represent something? Like, when it's not necessary. That's it.
So if you see Afro-Fusion is not a genre, why do you think Burna Boy says his music is Afro-Fusion?
I think I've already answered that because it's profitable. And people are desperate to stand out. It's an ego trip. It's an ego trip. And like I also said, the Afro, like sometimes it's not enough to say his music is Afrobeats because it feels like you're boxing. For example, look at Last. I was the first person that called it out. So what are you people even saying? You're all dumb. It's on my Twitter, it's on my Instagram. You can search it. I did it last week. Last, it's not an Afrobeats. It's not Afrobeats. Stop boxing the music up. But I'm not saying that to be dance. Do not go and say you are Afro-Fusion. Let them put it in dancehall. Let them put it in the Caribbean playlist. Do you understand? That's it. This is not hard. It's content.
All right. If Burna Boy's music is a whole experience, why can't it just be Afro-Fusion?
Because you can't classify a song. Because there's Afrobeats on an album, and then there's Boomba on an album, there's this on an album. You can't then say it's Afro-Fusion. There are other records on the album that are not Afrobeats or Afro-Fusion. Do you understand? It makes no sense. Like, there are songs on that one that are dancehall. There are a ton of genres that the guy explores genres more than anybody else. So, why? He's probably going to do trap on this album. Nobody, like, he can do anything. It's infinite. Maybe not infinite is not good, but his talent can be. So that's it, my brother. That's the long and short of it.
All right, so some people brought Osag's clip from 2015 to this conversation.
Yeah.
Does it validate Burna Boy's?
No, it doesn't. Because Osage was talking about it, in a way it does. Osage was talking about the fact where people are wrongly classified. Do you understand? Based on a song-by-song basis. Not what I am. Not call me what I am because this is what I say I am. Sometimes, just because you make music doesn't mean you know music as much. Do you understand? Doesn't mean you know genres. Like because artists are naming their genres right now. The way they're naming it shows that they don't know genres. They don't know music. Do you understand? Like, look at these people that are naming their genres. If you knew music, you will not be naming these genres as you are naming them because it makes no sense. What's Afro rave? What is it? You are not raving. Where's the rave? Are you making EDM? Is this the 80s? I don't understand. You don't understand what I mean. So if you knew, like, you will not be describing it like that. So just because you're an artist doesn't mean, but sometimes artists can rightly make points. For example, I saw Ruga's Bounce on Afrobeats playlist. It's not an Afrobeat song. That's the type of thing Osage was talking about. So if Ruga comes out and says, bro, this is not an Afrobeat song, put me on so, that is right. But if Ruga comes out and says, no, Bounce is Afro reading, what the fuck is that? It's a dancehall record. Do you understand? But that's what we are facing. That's the come out and say it's Afro reading, but it's dancehall. That's Osage was saying when you rightly say that my music is this, then puts me there. That's all.
Alright, so does an artist make a genre simply because they say so?
No, long and short.
So how should Burna Boy label himself, and is it important?
He doesn't have to label himself, bro. Just be Burna Boy. Be Burna Boy. Like, be Burna Boy. It's good enough to be Burna Boy. Most people in life don't get to be Burna Boy. Like, they don't get to do the things you are doing. And being Burna Boy is enough to go down in history as something special. You don't need to be a pioneer of anything. Now, if you want to pioneer something, sit down and create it. You don't even have to go on an interview and tell. Someone like me will say, bro, that's a genre. Do you understand? Because we will know that this is new. This is something new. That's it.
Okay, so you said earlier there are like 5,000 genres now.
Yeah.
Do you think someone can still create a genre today?
It's very hard. It's going to be very hard. But amazing people can still do amazing things. Amazing people can still do amazing things. Like, bro, amazing people can still do amazing things. Anything is possible. If you're amazing enough, you can create a genre. Trust me. If you're amazing enough, and that's factually.